Sasquatch, Ghost, Dogman, aliens, demons, shadow people, skinwalkers, even the Fae. Our universe is vast, dark, and wrought with infinite unexplained phenomena. We have tasked ourselves with assisting humanity in finding the keys to unlock the mysteries that abound in and around our world. What we intend to reveal behind the curtain of darkness may very well invoke those fears long tucked away in our memories. We will meet that fear head on as we strive to shine the light of understanding on these phenomena. The goal is to arm you with the power of knowledge to confront and even combat these entities. We welcome you to join us on our quest. We are Midwest Night Watchers.
Hi everyone, welcome to Piercing the Veil.
Yeah, welcome everyone.
We got a really good guest for you tonight. We got Amber Joslin from Amber's Paraworld, and as you know, if you've watched any of her shows, you know she does a Ouija board. She goes out and does live investigations in haunted prisons, cemeteries, all that kind of good stuff that we really like to watch and enjoy. So we'll go ahead and bring Amber up, and we'll get started. And if you got any questions, you know, put them in cap and we'll try to bring them up. Sometimes I don't do very good on comments because I get so involved in the show and talking to our guests, I kind of lose track. And I'm sorry if that happens, but we'll try to get any questions up on the screen for you. So here's Amber. Hi, Amber.
Hello. Hey,
Hi,
everyone.
Amber.
So how you doing tonight? Good?
I'm doing good. Had some time in the pool today and chased some goats, and now I'm sitting in the cemetery hanging out with y'all.
Well, at least you're not chasing goats in the pool.
Right? They hate water, so they probably would not go for that one willingly.
So like I said in the beginning, we really like watching all your live investigations and even your Ouija boards. I mean, that's just so interesting to us. It's just right up our alley, along with, you know, the paranormal and aliens and cryptids. It just all fits right in with everything that we like to chase down and watch.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, but not everybody's cup of tea, I guess. But if you're a little weird like me and you all, then we like that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So didn't you say you got this at a secondhand store, or someone called you and said, will you please take this? Or I don't remember the whole story behind it.
Yeah, I sort of know the lady who works at the antique shop. We talk about ghosts and stuff when I'm in there. We go there a lot. We love this place, and I was in there one day and she was busy ringing people up, but as I was leaving, she was like, "Wait, I have something you need to go get." And she told me where it was, and I went and got it. And she's like, "Get it out of here." So that's how I ended up with it. And then I also have a second board that has not made its debut on YouTube that a subscriber sent me. So I've got two of them now. So
Nice.
it's an old one. So I'll have to definitely do a video with both of them together.
Yeah, it just seemed like the older ones just looked better and were made better back then than the newer ones,
yeah.
Cardboard and fold in half, and they just don't seem like the same as the real old ones.
Yeah, it's definitely got some juice in it. If I don't know, it's got some energy with it. So I'm curious to see how it would work out to like maybe have me doing one and then somebody else doing the other one at the same time, and kind of compare what we get, you know, to see if we're talking to the same.
I remember having
entity.
one at mom and dad's. It wasn't mine, but all my brothers and sisters are older than me. So I remember them doing it, and I was there. And I think they only did it a couple of times because they started getting creeped out, I think. But as far as I know, it was still over my mother's. And that, you know, that was in the mid 70s when we were goofing around with it.
Yeah, that'd be an old one.
Right. Like my very first Ouija experience was not that good. I think everybody who's ever done Ouija when they were kids probably had a creepy experience. You know, especially, as a child, your mind is not open to other possibilities other than this is scary. The first time I ever touched one, I was with one of my friends. I was in elementary school. I was at her house. It was her brother's. We were in this creepy basement, with this wood burning stove. It was making all these weird noises. And I'd had a glass of water and I sat it on the banister of the stairs going down. And we were over, I'd say maybe 7 or 8 feet away in the floor with us. And we started asking questions. I don't remember what questions were asked. I think she was doing the questions really. And the planchette was just spinning. And then it flew off the board and hit my glass of water and broke it in the floor. So we went running upstairs and I didn't really mess with them after that. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to get one. I want one. If it's meant to be, it's going to happen. I didn't go just purchase one, looking on eBay or anything, but they kind of come to us when it's time for us to get something, whether it's a haunted item, an antique, everybody in our lives, it kind of comes when you need it or when it wants to find you. So I definitely think it was meant for me to take that one.
What's the oldest one that you have as far as either Ouija board or artifact or any kind of object?
I have, well, I don't know exact dates of it, but every piece of furniture in our living room is something that came from somebody that's passed away or an antique shop. I do have some stuff of my grandmother's that was her grandma's, and this is early 1900s, if not sooner. But I love buying stuff like that. If there's a estate sale, I'm going. I love that kind of stuff. But I'm always drawn to buy the ones that are creepy or have something weird with it.
Now, recently you brought something home that did have an attachment, correct?
Yes, that was the clown Jack in the Box.
Oh.
Yes, and he called me out, rightfully so, because I'm like, I've never had a demonic entity say the things this one did, and it honestly cracked me up. It was kind of spooky, but I was kind of like trying not to laugh. And I'm like, how did you even get in the house? I have it protected. He was like, you brought my toy inside, because it was in the Jeep. and we have potholes here in West Virginia, and every time I would hit a pothole or drive anywhere, it squeaks when it moves. So it'd be like squeak, squeak, squeak. And I got tired of it, so I stuck it downstairs in the house. And he was right. Like I brought it inside, and I probably shouldn't have. It's still in my house. It's still there. So you think I would learn, and take it out, but it's fine.
That reminds me of Elf in the Jack in the Box, the movie Elf.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a funny movie.
So you did get rid of him, or you're just kind of
once he left. No, the second time I had to do a cleansing, I actually went, the first time ever, I went to the Catholic church in the next county over and got some holy water. And it was so funny because I called this place, they were open. I'm like, can I have some holy water? She's like, yeah, come on over, bring you a bottle. So I bought this water bottle, dumped it out, took this water bottle in. And she was like, so are you going to bless your garden with this? I'm like, yeah, something like that. Something like that. But I went around and I used the holy water and I poured it in that little Jack in the Box's mouth. I definitely think he could be like revoked if I called on him. You know what I mean? That's just the way energy works and spirit works with anything like that. I mean, but for now, I don't think he's in the house. I haven't seen him. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I think all our furniture is all old antiques. Most of it came from my family, and Jane has some from her family that are hand-me-downs, or whether it's a grandma or grandpa's piece. So we don't know if maybe they have something attached to them. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think even with attachments, like it just in my experience, like if I go buy this item and there's like say this elderly lady that I pick up on attached to it, she could very well be still with her family at another place. I mean, spirit can be in so many places at once, and it's the exact same person you're talking to, and it's sometimes it's hard to understand that, like we were talking about earlier before the show. But some people think that like and I think I'm going to refer to a movie now, like when the Warrens did, like, would put Annabelle in this case or their artifacts in this case. That's not going to stop anything because they can be in so many places at once. It's just not going to stop it. You can get them to leave your property or to maybe like exit the item, but spirit is just everywhere. It's in everything.
Right. Yeah. I mean, could they transfer from that to something else in your house?
They can, yeah, they can. And I think even like with the Jack in the Box toy, I don't even know if it was always like that. I mean, because I know that spirit can, like, if somebody's going to take something home and they want attention, they can just be like hop right in it. You know what I mean? Like they can just hop in it right when you're leaving the store, and there you go. You've got one coming home with you that wasn't always haunted. And as awful as it is dealing with demonic entities, I was kind of questioning afterwards, once I figured this out, and I'm like, why do I always end up with this stuff? And I'm thinking, well, what if somebody took their grandkid in there and they liked that kind of stuff and they took it home and this thing was with that kid now, and you know what I mean? Like that could have easily saved some other family from dealing with this. Even though I had to deal with it, I'd rather it be me than, a family that can't protect themselves or don't know how to.
Right. That would be my luck, that I'd bring something home. Then by the time I figured it out, they've already transferred to something else. They just keep hopping around in
Right.
the house.
Well, besides the Jack in the Box, do you have any dolls?
Yes. Well, I have Hattie, and she's been with me for a while, for several years, and she's a good one. She gets so aggravated when I bring stuff home that has attachments. She was like, just stop. She's such a sweet lady. And actually, I have something really cool coming up soon that Hattie will be a part of, because she's originally from Tennessee, and I'll be heading there soon, and I'm taking her with me. So I don't know if we're going to be able to find where she was, but she's going to get to go back to her home state soon and hang out for a while. And I think that'll be fun.
Now, the other one is Paul that hangs out with you, right?
Yes. Paul does not have anything that he's attached to, like any type of vessel that he's attached to. He's just my bodyguard. He's awesome. I love him to death.
So how'd you find him?
On the beach one night. We had went to the beach a couple years ago, and he was just there. He was like, hey, hey. And yeah, he was just there. And I had intentions of, we had flown there to the beach, and I couldn't take my rods with me on the flight because, they're a weapon or whatever they consider them. They're this long piece of metal, so you can't take them. And I told him, I'm like, just come home with me, and I'll just cross you over there. We'll just talk and hang out, and then I'll get you to where you need to be. And it was so funny because, like, as soon as we got home, he was like, nope, I'm staying. He even came to my mom in a dream, and I had not even told her about him. And she said that she saw him from behind, and he just had his red swim trunks on, the little short ones they wore back in like the 50s. And he has this, he's gorgeous. He has this awesome hair, and she just saw him from behind, and he said, tell Amber I want to stay. And I'm like, fine, you can stay, but you got to help me out. Like, I won't put them to work. They're going to work. Yeah. You can't stay for free. You're going to go with me and help me out.
Yeah, he shows up a lot in your shows, and
yes,
even his voice when you're using Spirit Talker and it comes out and says Paul.
Yeah, he does. He says it a lot. Yeah, he's usually with me. Hattie doesn't like to go places anymore. I've taken her to a few places that she just really got creeped out. She's just like, I'll stay home.
So are you the only one that can see them, or I'm assuming do you see a full version or whatever of them, or is it something in your mind, or you visibly see this person?
Both. My mom can see them, but she sees them in dreams. And sometimes she'll see like shadows or movement, she'll pick up on stuff. My daughter can see them. I don't know if you guys caught the picture that I drew of the spirit I posted a couple days ago. My daughter was the first one that saw her, and she's like, there's this woman just kind of in the hallway leaning like this. And then it was like that night, I think I look at my bedroom door and it's like really late, and she was popping her head in the door, and I physically seen her standing there. She was there like just like a person would be.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
And I don't know where she came from. I'm gonna probably have to do a session and try to figure it out. She's gorgeous. She's very young. She's tall. She's got blonde hair. She's very pretty. I don't know what happened to her. I haven't really spent the time to like it would just happen the last couple of days. So I haven't really had a session and concentrated on seeing what's going on with her. But I got to get her crossed over before her and Paul decide to start dating. So
Oh, yeah.
That'd be cool.
So how many have you had at your place at once or in contact with you? I don't know. Do they
Oh.
stay at your place all the time, or they just kind of come in and
Yeah.
out?
Sometimes they'll come in and out of the house, but at any given time, just in the yard, 20, 30 of them. Some want to cross over, some don't. I used to
Wow.
go out there and just do like this big session every couple months and just cross a bunch of them over if they wanted to. There was one that I did, and I don't even know if I even uploaded that to YouTube, but I did this one crossing and I was talking to this guy, and it was dark, and I had the phone on my hood of the car, and I'm out in the yard, and it was cold out, and I'm like telling him he needs to like look for this light. He needs to go find his family. And in my like I could audibly hear it, but it picked it up on my phone too. And you can hear him say, "I see God," and he just left. It was so awesome.
Wow.
So you're like a bed and breakfast for all these guys then.
Yes, exactly. A lot of them just sometimes they don't want help. Sometimes they don't. There's a lot that just won't even talk to me. They just hanging out. Some of them just want to be scary. In the last couple months, there's been this tall man, and I've seen him out in the old goat shed, like near where my Pyrenees is, and I'd see him like walk by the downstairs window when I'm doing laundry. I haven't seen him for a while anymore. I don't know what happened to him, but like some of them don't want to connect with me. They don't want to do anything, and if they come at me and they're just like, I'm not going to mess with them. Like some of them just come and hiss and growl, and make weird noises, and they don't want to talk. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I've had weird ones. Just like I don't know, they're just some are really cool and some are just acting weird.
Why do you feel like some don't want to cross over and they still want to be down here in the spirit world?
I think a lot of times it can have to do with the state of mind they're in when they pass. I've had a lot of them that have passed away from drug overdoses, and some of them are aware that they need, like, they're on the other side and they're just like, tell my family I'm sorry or something like that. But then some of them will make me feel like how they felt when they died, and I'll get really dizzy and nauseous and sick. And that's really hard for me to, like, I'll tell them, hey, don't be throwing this on me. Like and it happens sometimes, a lot of times when I'm out in public, and a lot of them are just like really confused. They're like, I don't know what happened, what's going on. I wasn't here, and then I woke up here. Like they don't really comprehend. So I mean, I think a lot of it just has to do with the state of mind they're in when they pass.
You think someone might be scared to cross over and they're just more content down here and they don't like the change?
Or they just don't know how to do it?
Or they
Or
just, yeah,
Right.
don't-
Yeah. Not knowing how is a big part. And for me, I still don't understand why, like a family, there was this little boy that came to me and he wanted to find his mother. He was from like 1902, 1903. He had passed away when he was 6, and his mother had passed away. And he couldn't find her on the other side. So I don't understand like why they can't find each other. Like I don't know what the reason is. That's just kind of one thing that I'll probably will never know till I get to the other side. I know that there are a lot of times your family's with you. So I don't know what happened to make them not be able to find each other. So, on that one in particular, I just, I had to call out to his mom. I'm like, we need to get I'm going to help you find her. And I eventually did. I mean, it was just like, I don't know what the barrier is. And, spirit doesn't really tell me what the barrier is. They're just like, in his situation, he was just like, I don't know where she is. I want my mommy, I want to see her.
right.
He had no idea why he couldn't find his mom. So he had been, wandering around this long looking for his mom. And they were reunited and they both went into the light together. So,
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's another good point. When you die or wherever these spirits are coming from, or it makes you wonder, why aren't they all together?
Mhm.
Like you know, like you said, the one was looking for the mother. You know, why wasn't the mother there when the other one crossed over? You know, is how
Right.
many different planes they're on, or
Right. And that's just, I don't know, it's just one of those mysteries about spirit, you know, that like I said, we probably won't know till we get to the other side. And our experience probably isn't going to be like that. You know, it's going to be different. So everybody has a different experience when they cross over. So it's just hard to say, you know, why that stuff happens. I know that, you know, a lot of spirit will, when they cross over, they don't want to. I had a woman, she was very young. Her father had killed her. And this was several years ago. And she didn't want to cross over because she didn't want to see her dad again.
Mm.
And
okay.
I'm like, you don't have to see him, honey. Go find your grandma. Go find your sister. Go find your mom. You do not have to see him. You know, you don't have to be around the people that hurt you.
Yeah.
And a lot of them think that that's what's going to happen. But even the ones that go into the light, they can come back whenever they want. They're not trapped there. You know, they can still come and go. It's just a place they can go and choose to reincarnate, choose to heal, you know, go over those karmic lessons that we're all learning here right now on Earth.
Right. So while you're playing the Ouija board, you brought in some interesting characters on some of your shows. So you want to tell us about some of your coolest experiences with this Ouija board?
I think my favorite one would have to be Archangel Michael. And
Yeah.
I filmed this entire session and my phone didn't record because I film everything on my phone. It's easier for me to just do that and edit. You know, some people have fancy equipment. I use my cell phone. But we filmed this amazing session with him. And I realized I didn't get it all recorded. So then I had to ask him, so let's do this again because I have to share this with everybody. And he was already so annoyed with me because like he doesn't like, he's just so serious and I'm just giddy and I laugh all the time. And he was just so annoyed. And for me to have to ask him to do this again, he was just like, whatever. It was so funny. But he did it. I don't know if he'd ever do it again. He might. But he has no sense of humor at all. So I'm just putting that out there. He's very straight. He's very straightforward. He will help people. He wants everybody to love everybody. He'll be there for people if you call on him. And that's the thing with spirit. You have to call on them to help you. Even your guides, you have to ask them and acknowledge them. They're not just going to show up and swoop in, you know, and save you from something if you're not going to ask them and acknowledge them. And he's the same way, but you know, he's just very matter of factly. He doesn't like to goof off. He didn't think it was funny that I laughed a lot, and I couldn't help it. Like it's just the way his energy felt, it just made me laugh. And I wasn't like laughing to be rude to him, just because it was just so funny that he was so straightforward. And but that was definitely my favorite one.
Oh man.
I'm just laughing that you ticked off Archangel Michael.
Right? Like everything's not a joke, lady. Quit laughing. I thought it was funny. I mean, but he was very sweet. Like he has very good intentions. I mean, very powerful. But you know, I don't guess he was ever human, so he probably doesn't have that aspect like we have, you know. So I guess that's the big difference there.
You know, I can picture Michael being all serious, you know, here to do something, take care of business, and here laughing and having fun.
Yeah.
And he's like, what the heck, you know?
Yeah.
What's this woman?
I got stuff to do. I ain't got time for jokes.
That's exactly how he was. It was so funny. But he was so sweet in the same sense. And even the ETs, we've connected with ETs on the Ouija board, and they're kind of like in the same sense. They want everybody to get along and to be happy and come together and unite rather than letting like worldly things tear us apart. And I always tell people that too. Like, you know, no matter your differences, we have to stand together because that's the only way to kind of up level this world. You know what I mean? Like to make changes is, who cares what someone else believes in or what someone else does or who they vote for? It doesn't matter in the end. That's all stuff to just distract you. It doesn't matter. We're all human. We all need to just love each other and just think of like the better, like manifest good stuff, you know, think positive, speak positive. And, you know, some people are hard to love. I get that, but you don't have to go up and give them a hug and a kiss. Just in general, just put that out there in the world, that vibration.
Right. I agree.
I mean, if we
we're
had,
all going through our own personal
yeah,
journey, and not everybody,
Mhm.
just like in this world, not everybody's on the same level or at the same learning experience, or
mm-hmm,
not everybody is awake to everything that's going on, and
mm-hmm,
you just gotta go through your own journey, and hopefully you can pull in enough information and start working on your vibration, your higher consciousness, and get
mm-hmm,
get to a better place where you can sort this stuff out and start seeing what's going on in this world, or the stuff that we
mm-hmm,
really don't see. That's
Yeah.
the question.
Well, I don't think anybody's right or wrong. Everyone has free will. They're choosing what
mm-hmm.
they want on their own little journey, and everyone just needs to stop looking at everyone else's what they're picking and just live your own life and be happy.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like that when you're dead too. You have free will. Like I said, some people don't understand that. Like some of the spirit, either don't want to go for some reasons, like don't want to see people, or they don't know how to. But you have free will. You have free will if you want to hang out in the cemetery, or if you want to go hang out with your grandma, or if you want to do, whatever you want to do, you can do it.
Wow.
That's a lot of freedom.
Yeah.
It is. Every decision we make affects our timeline. Every single thought and decision we make.
Now, this really isn't a question. I don't know if you would know or what your thoughts on, but they always talk about, if I pass away or I die, everybody says, well, I want to go look at the JFK assassination, or I want to go talk to Abraham Lincoln, right? Do you think the spirit world, you can do that? You can go talk to previous people and
Or go back in the past and see events.
I'm sure you can. I really do think you could. But what our human brains want to do is completely different than what our soul needs to do.
Mhm.
So
right.
no matter the trauma, the crap that we go through right now, before we got in this body, our soul knew what karmic lessons we needed to learn, and they signed up for this. All the crap. It doesn't mean that it makes even like abuse or anything like that okay, but our souls signed up for this. There's things we have to learn, and Earth is the best school for that. So, when we get to the other side, we're not going to be physically thinking like we are in our human body. So our soul is going to be like, this is what I need to do. This is my lessons I learned. This is what needs to happen next. We're probably not going to think about going there and doing that.
Right.
Yeah, I'm assuming that if we're on the other side, we're either connected or we are our higher conscious self on the other side. I don't know exactly how that works, but we would probably already know the answers that we're seeking down here once we cross over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we, like our soul connections, like those, what people want to call as like soulmates, could be family, friends, neighbors. I think we're going to connect with those people that we've had other lifetimes with. Like your child in this lifetime could have been your mailman in another life. But you have that you were friends with. But our souls, I think, are just going to look for those people that we know and recognize, and then you're going to decide if you want to come back again. And most people are going to come back again.
Yeah.
Unless you're like at a point where you're like at this higher like you're so high that you've learned all your lessons, you're gonna come back again and have to figure it all out all over. Mm-hmm.
What do you think of cryptids, and how many cryptids have you come across?
So many. And that's one thing that I did manifest out loud. I did meditations. I've done sleep meditations for it. Like I'm like, whatever's out here in this realm, I want to see it, all of it. And I've seen things that there's like not names for, that I don't even know what they're called. Like I did learn after I went to Delaware that those little brown things were puckwudgies. I did not know that before I went. But I've seen puckwudgies. I've seen different types of Sasquatch. There's different ones. There was these ones I saw that were really tall, and they were kind of like aggressive. That they weren't like Bigfoot. They were a different type, but they looked like Bigfoot, but they were not Bigfoot. It was so weird. I still can't remember what they're called. I don't even know if I know. I've seen like this little. I've seen the almost like rakes, I guess, but they're like these little naked elf-looking people with big ears and these razor sharp teeth. They look like what's that one guy from Gollum or something. Like
Oh
they
yeah,
look
yeah.
they
Lord of
look
the
like
Rings.
him. Yeah, they look like him, and they're about 3 feet tall, and they're just like really fast. They move so fast. I've
So
seen
that
Faye. I've got those on video. There's a creature in my woods that looks like a deer dog combination looking thing that climbs down trees, and I've got pictures of him climbing down trees. There's just a lot of things that are out there that I think if all of us could see everything out here, nobody would ever leave their house again.
so the naked thing, I was going to ask you about that. So it looks kind of like an elf, or I thought it was kind of like a troll, because I do remember you telling the story about seeing the little naked guy, and you knew it was a guy totally naked running in the woods.
Yeah, yeah. I, I still don't know, like technically what they're called or why they're here. He didn't try to hurt me, you know. He knew I saw him. He was kind of scared. He just kind of ran up and had like showed me his teeth and then ran back into the woods and just but he was so fast it was like a blur. Um,
Wow.
but I saw him like physically with my eyes, like I saw him run up and you know, um, sometimes they still spook me, you know, if they run up on me and freak me out. But for the most part, I'm kind of just used to it, so it doesn't startle me too bad. I know when to leave and when to shut up and quit asking questions. Sometimes.
That's probably something where they they just go about their business, and most of us can't see him, or a lot of people can't see him. Then all of a sudden, oh crap, she can see me.
Right. Like, why do I want to talk to her?
And then you scream and go, ah, you're naked.
You know, it's probably like, you know, like in a pet store when they have like hamsters or guinea pigs and those things, and they're like, don't touch them, and kids go poking at them. That's probably what they see me doing. They're like, hey, look, who are you? What's your name? And they're probably like, get away.
Now, have you experienced any cryptids around your cemetery investigations, or is it mainly just spirits, or both?
Well, the zombies, I would probably consider them a type of cryptid just because I don't think they were ever human. Let's see. I know I sound crazy saying like, hey, there's zombies here, but there really are. I don't know if I've ever picked up on any other type of cryptids here. I know we had a time like a loss of time when I was with one of my friends one time, and I think that was ET related.
Mm.
And that was in the cemetery.
Oh, it was in that cemetery. Okay.
It was in it was in here right up on the hill there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think if there may have been. I think I've picked up on like wolf looking things here, but they're not dog men and they're not like werewolves. They're just I don't know what they're called. Like there's so many of them. Like we only like typically categorize like dog man, Bigfoot, skinwalkers, that kind of stuff, you know, like but there's so many more. There's so many that don't have names or that I'm not even aware, you know, I'm not aware that they have names. And it's so weird typing that into a search engine when you're like, what is just skin down to its waist and it has fur and can change what it looks like. Like nothing comes up. It's going to come up like comic books, right? You can't Google some of this stuff. I try to document when I see things and what they are. And a lot of times in my videos, if I see something that I don't know what it is, I'm like, if anybody knows what this is, please let me know because I want to learn. But I've definitely seen a lot of weird things, you know, swamp monsters. I've seen a dog looking cat. I don't know, wolf looking thing. I don't know what it was. It was black and it had red eyes and it lives in the water and it tries to kill people. It does kill people. I've seen just weird things out there. For sure.
Well, I think you ought to put it in an AI art generator. Then you can have the privilege of naming it yourself. Maybe you'll name a new cryptid or a new, new entity.
New cryptids. I think there's new cryptids out there. You know, by the time we name everything, there's going to be something new that's running around out there.
And and it's so funny because it's like, you know, if even people that are into cryptids or spirit, some of them when they hear me say this stuff, they're just like, I don't believe you. And I've always said like it's not ever going to be my job to convince anyone that spirit exists, that any of that stuff exists. I'll document things and just share what I know, but I will never try to beg somebody to believe me. I don't really care. I don't have time to do all that. It's not my job for that. That's their own journey that's going to, and bring that out in it. They have to do that themselves. Um, but yeah, there's just a lot of stuff out here. West Virginians got a lot.
Well, not everything can fit into the Bigfoot or Dog
Right.
Man or Mothman category. There has to be
Mhm.
all kinds of different entities or species, if you want to call them that. I mean, even in the
Mhm.
beginning, when people were only UFO people or only Bigfoot people, I mean, they didn't
Mhm.
cross over each other's categories. They said, "No, we don't believe in UFOs if you're a Bigfoot hunter, or if it's the other way around." So, I mean, it's sad to say that there's still that kind of division between the groups sometimes, but like us, I mean, we believe in it all. We want to hear everybody's story, and if
Mhm.
you believe in a dog man or a moth man or a Bigfoot, then you have to believe there's other stuff out there besides just them.
Right.
Right. And I've seen that before where somebody's like, they're talking about this story where they heard or saw a Bigfoot, but then they'll tell me like, but you know what? When you're dead, you're dead. Spirit doesn't exist. And I'm like, that's kind of like the pot calling the kettle black. You can't really, in my opinion, um, you can't really do that. But there is a lot of that. People will say things, certain things about spirit, then say they can't do this or that. There was a time that I had posted a video, I think on TikTok, and this lady had commented, and she's like, I'm a medium too, and I cannot believe you're in a cemetery telling people spirit are in cemetery. They're not there. They're with their family or in heaven. And I'm like, okay, whatever you want to think, but that's not true. Especially like when people go to cemeteries and have creepy experiences, whether you're a ghost hunter or not. If you're reading graves, a lot of people do that, right? They'll go down and say so and so, Jane Doe, she was born then, and they'll talk about her. Oh, she died awful young. And and when you're talking about people, you're calling their energy in.
Yeah.
So those
Yeah.
people that may be with their family in another country, or wherever they're at, another city, another state, you're calling that energy in because you're talking about them and you're talking about who they were in life. So guess what? She's going to show up. And then you're going to have the next one show up. And then before you know it, you're going to have like 40 of them following you because you're talking about all of them. So experiences are going to happen.
I really like your prison investigations too. When you
Oh,
go
yeah.
into the prisons or I don't know if you went. I think one of them was like almost like a mental hospital or a ward or something on one of your videos, and then
The recent one.
then the one that I really like is a short you put out where you actually scared your crew. That was so funny.
But yeah, it was so funny. The lady that screamed, I could not scream like that. I had throat surgery on my vocal cords last year because of an injury, and I cannot make any kind of high pitched sounds, but it was so funny. I didn't know she was going to scream that loud, so she kind of got me too. But those poor guys, I don't even know who they were. I don't even remember their names. They were friends with them. I don't know who they were, but it was so funny. He was like, "We hadn't got anything all night, no spikes, no nothing." And then, hey, but you got scared, so that's one thing. You got scared. She got him like 3 times. I didn't put all of them in there, but she got him like 3 times. It was funny. I'm like, now you can't say you didn't get anything.
Now, other than the joking part, you had quite a bit of activity
Yeah.
in that place. You want to
Yeah.
talk about that a little bit, or?
Yeah, the most activity there for sure was in the infirmary where they would take the patients who had like a mental illness or like the psych ward part of the jail. A lot of bad things happen there, and I know a lot of us will look at, even to this day, you see criminals or murderers, whatever, and you're like, just give them life, send them to the whatever. But there was a lot of people there that didn't deserve to be treated the way they were, and that's hard, especially when when I'm in there and I start seeing what happened, or they're telling me all this stuff that happened, and I'm like, who deserves that? Just because maybe you stole something or you got put in there because you were with somebody that did something, and these people were tortured. A lot of them were. Some of them probably deserved it, but like a lot of them didn't. A lot of them did not deserve to be treated the way they were. And the doctor for sure was in on it. He was abusing the patients for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, that's horrible. I mean, there wasn't not that we're any better today because I know they still experiment on people, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's just crazy to think that there wasn't no laws or any kind of protections for people. I mean, even back then in the early 1900s or even before that, say a medium would probably be put in a mental institution and they don't
Oh yeah.
understand, they
Mhm.
wouldn't understand that you actually have that ability. They would just deem
Mhm.
you crazy and try to fill you full of drugs
Or call you a witch.
or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
you go back to the witch trials
Yeah.
even.
And
Yeah. If you
even
had
like
any
into
kind
the
of gift.
even into the early 1900s, a husband could drop his wife off at any asylum and say, you know what, I didn't like the dinner she cooked, and they would keep her there forever until and how would that not drive you crazy? You don't have to be crazy to go into those places, but when you're there, knowing what happened and knowing that, and then you're around all this and been mistreated and abused and tortured and having these experiments done on you, that's enough to make anybody, you know,
Mhm.
lose it a little bit.
Or let alone the drugs that they put them on.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
But but then I know you've came across some entities or spirits in some of the prisons and stuff you went to, but some of them actually really did deserve to be there.
Oh yeah, yes. Absolutely. Um, I was hoping, I know if anybody watched, I think was it part two, where I'm like sitting there like, hitting on the jail cell, and I'm like, you have to listen to me. I'm the warden. Like I was really trying to get him fired up. It didn't work as like I planned on it.
Yeah, I watched that. I watched both parts of that one.
Yeah, and the REM pod going off. Uh-oh, I think Amber froze up.
Oh, yep. She said she was out.
Yeah, she's out in the
She,
cemetery.
she's out in the cemetery, and she said she might lose connection and she'll pop back in whenever she can. So, yeah, this has been very interesting.
Yeah, I love her investigations.
Anybody that can do live investigations is just so interesting because you never know what they're going to capture on film, whether they actually see it or not. I mean, I know Amber and all them, they can actually see into that spectrum or feel their presence. But like even if me and Jane went out in the cemetery, it's just so exciting for people to be able to see that and might be able to catch something that we don't see on film because all the frequencies or the wavelengths show up on camera, especially these days. They got the
Mhm.
technology down so good, so it's always interesting to watch live investigations if you can.
Yeah, and just there's so many out there that have no fear. Amber has no fear.
There you are.
There you are.
I'm back. My phone did pretty good, but then I lost signal, so we're good now. I got the hotspot on.
Well, that's cool. So, yeah, you want to head out and show everyone the cemetery where you're at?
Yeah, we can. We can definitely do that. Walk out here and well, this place is definitely it's beautiful. I love cemeteries.
And you can introduce your family to us. It's there.
If you want
Yes.
to, you don't have to.
I know a lot of people don't really film cemetery videos. I don't do it a whole lot, but I do love a good cemetery video because I mean I think they're just beautiful places, but they're also really creepy, You just never know what's gonna happen. Let me get this flipped around here.
Sometimes it can be really peaceful.
Oh yeah. And like this place right now, it looks so peaceful. But I guarantee you, I'll probably come back tonight and film. It's probably gonna be crazy.
Now, is that the hill you were talking about earlier?
Yes, up here where that tree is, there's some hedges, and that's the one. That's where I saw the monks or whatever they were.
Monks.
I don't know
Interesting.
what they were, but they were on the other side. Like I was on this side of it.
And you said they had black hooded capes on?
They like a full robe with a hood on, and they had their heads bowed.
Wow.
And the front of them was facing me, and there was about a dozen, and they were like right up against each other. They weren't holding hands, but it was like they were close enough they could have been.
Wow. Now, is that just
But
a
yeah,
general cemetery or is it a Catholic or anything that, like I associate monks with the Catholic religion, but I don't know if it is or not.
No, this is just for anybody. Um,
Hmm.
I can't find a lot of information about what it used to be, but I did hear that it used to be a dairy farm. They had cows here, pastures, a long time ago. So I'm not real sure, about that. But I've seen things jumping in trees out here. Like I don't know. There almost any video I do, and usually it happens down on this end. Like you're walking around down through here, and you'll hear a man talking. He'll be like, "Hey," or "What are you doing?" But there's nobody here.
Oh
There's
man.
there's absolutely no one here. The mausoleum is a whole story in itself. That place is creepy. I don't really go in there anymore because there's one way in and one way out, and we had a really creepy experience one time where we're in there, and then somebody
Wow.
starts banging on the door really loud from outside, and I really think it was a human, but it scared us because there was four of us, but in the same sense, I don't want to be in a building where somebody can walk in the front door and kind of block us in. People are crazy these days. I don't know if they're, people could try to rob you, try to shoot you. I don't want that.
Right.
So do you have better luck at night, or do you pick up stuff during the day just as well?
Um, Both. Yeah, definitely both. At nighttime, it's easier to hear spirit. In the daytime, you could think, even if you hear one screaming, you could be like, oh, well, that's somebody over there. It's a kid playing in the pool next door. Or, you know what I mean? We rationalize it
Right.
with other things.
Right. I just
There
didn't
was a
know
time.
if at nighttime, like they always say, the 3 o'clock hour or after midnight, the spirits come out, so I didn't know if it was the same for like cemeteries or if they're just always there.
Yeah, this place is creepy any time of the day, but it's so peaceful as well. I don't know if anybody, it was probably one of my first videos I actually went anywhere and put on YouTube several years ago, but I went to Cabin 13, and it's at a state park in Babcock, West Virginia, and a preacher took his wife there, and he wanted the insurance money, so he killed her there and made up this whole big story about, how somebody broke in and all this stuff. Well, she's actually buried right up here.
Wow.
I had known that she was buried here, but I never could find her grave, and then last year I found it.
Wow.
And what's crazy is when I was really little, I went to that church a few times, and he was preaching there. So
now, is there any I don't want to say famous, but celebrities or any like politicians or anybody that would be notorious in that cemetery? Do you know of?
not that I know of, not that I'm aware of.
Oh, is that the same cemetery you said you saw zombies?
Yes, they were in those woods right straight back.
Oh.
Literally
Oh,
right
wow.
back there. And there was like a
Wow.
horde of them coming at me. Those were creepy.
And I take it you got in your vehicle and took off.
No, I stayed and filmed. I
You
saw
stayed
those
and
as soon as
filmed?
we. Yes.
She only leaves if there's frogs.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
I'm only out if there's a frog. But yeah, I
forgot about
stayed.
the frogs. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw the zombies right when we got here that night, and then I still stayed and did like this. I think it was the Slender Man ritual. I did that, trying to summon Slender Man. I don't think
No.
it was very successful, but there was just other stuff here.
Now, did they look like what you would see in the movies, like whether it's the Living Dead or any of that?
Yes, they absolutely looked like some Walking Dead zombies. They were walking weird, ripped clothes, skin peeling off their faces,
Oh my gosh.
wow.
sort of skeletal mouths, rotting flesh. They were, I don't know where they came from, but there was a bunch of them. And I mean, that was the first time I've seen them. So it kind of spooked me a little. So I was kind of like, okay, I don't want to see them right now. You know what I mean? I have to
Right.
say this over and over. I'm like, I don't want to see them. Because I mean, typically I guess I could have been like, hey, where are you coming from? Like what's, I don't know that they would have answered me because of the state of mind they were probably in. But I don't think they were ever human. So that's the thing with them. I don't think they were ever human.
Okay, because I was going to ask you, do you think they were actually buried in that cemetery at one time and then they manifested, or?
Yeah, I don't know what. I think the woods hold something creepy. There was a time I did something for on somebody else's channel around Halloween, and I went. Okay, so there's where I saw the zombies. There's another little mausoleum right up here. I can barely see the building, but I went behind the woods. Like there's a trail, and it's so creepy. So I think the woods. There's something going on with those woods. I don't know if it's like ley lines, portals. I don't know what's going on with those woods, but there's something that has nothing to do with the cemetery. I think the cemetery is probably like um may give it some energy, like they're feeding off each other, if that makes sense. But
Yeah.
but there's definitely something with those woods. I think there's just
Wow.
it's Appalachian Mountains, you know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff out here.
Maybe somebody, maybe a group did rituals back there at one time.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. But I haven't really seen the zombies since. So that's interesting that I haven't seen them. I've never picked up on them anywhere else. You know,
That was
I've
the
seen
only time you saw
vampires
them?
and that, huh? I didn't hear
That
you.
was the only time you saw them?
Yes. I've picked up on vampires in different places, werewolves, shapeshifters, all that good stuff. But definitely not zombies anymore. But since I'm talking about them, I'm going to come back here tonight. They're probably going to be like, "Hey, what's up? There's a little
Yeah,
squirrel."
we heard you talking about us.
Yeah, it's going to be Midwest fault.
Yeah. I don't know that they could even. I don't know how they would even communicate because I didn't even hear them coming. I just looked over and they were just right at the tree line coming at me. So I don't know.
Well,
Spirit talker.
Unless they have a way of mind speaking or something like that, or communicating with you. I don't think they could verbally communicate unless they just grunt or make noises like you'd see in the movies.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It'd definitely be interesting, but like I said, like there's a lot of times, like I mean, I wish I could get a picture of them, but I can't. You know what I mean? Like there's been times I have literally seen a dead person stand beside a K2 meter and just be like, "I'm not going to touch it. I'm not touching it. I don't care how many times you ask me. I don't want to touch it." And if they don't want to do something, they're not going to do it. That's just how spirit works. So I wish I could take a picture of one. I mean, I've seen a dead person stand right there taking a picture and you see nothing in the picture. And there's sometimes you catch them in a picture or video. So it'd be cool if they could do that. Like it always blows my mind when they don't want to do things because I know they can. I mean, they could muster up the energy and flip chairs, yell, scream. They could do that stuff, but some of them just, I don't know. I think they're just like messing with us.
Now,
well, speaking of energy, do you see a lot of orbs in the cemeteries?
Sometimes, I guess, but a lot of times it depends on what kind of lighting I'm using at night on what I see. Usually I have like a crappy flashlight where I can't really see very far out. So it makes it difficult to see. I need to get me a really good flashlight, but I kind of like the struggle of using a flashlight that has barely any battery power. And I'm out here in the dark.
No, what was the new our UV light? Is that what you call it?
Yeah, we bought first we bought a really nice flashlight that can go out real far and it's really bright, but sometimes that always kind of messes up your video because it's too bright. But now we got a real nice UV light that makes stuff really show and pop really nice.
Yeah. Can you imagine what you would see on the tombstones with the UV light?
I'm going to show you something. I'm going to see if you guys can see it. We just seen this. Hold on. Let me flip my camera again. All right. I don't know if I can get up high enough. Do you see it? Like, what does that look like to you guys?
Let me
let me get her. Yeah, get her a full.
There's a couple of them all the way up the tree.
Oh my.
I'll try to get closer. Do you see that though?
No, I'm having a hard time seeing it. Our setup's not very good, so you might have to describe it or tell us what you're seeing.
Left side, right side.
It's like all the way up the middle. It looks like eyeballs carved in the tree to me.
Oh yeah, I do see that.
There's several of them.
Like eyeballs.
There's like one directly in the middle, one below it, one up to the right.
Oh, yeah.
Is that not crazy though? There's weird stuff on trees out here like that.
Yeah, I do see that. Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think some of these, it looks like a face. It's interesting for sure. This place. I don't know if that have you. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of creepy looking trees here.
Well, what
For
is the
sure.
most scariest place you've gone to?
The scariest place?
Yeah.
Probably Lake Shawnee.
Is that the carnival place?
Yes. I'm
Okay.
probably gonna go back again sometime this summer after I said I'd never go again. So I'll probably go back. But like I said, I don't know if I'll stay the night. That place is one of a kind for sure.
So what did you feel when you were there?
Everything. There's so many different elements. There's Native Americans, there's violence, there's death, there's the Native Americans killing the people, there's the children they killed, there's this creature in the water that kills people and has documented murders, deaths occurring there. There's several portals, there's ancient entities that's been there for like hundreds and hundreds of years. There's just a lot of different elements there, and it's all at once, and it's just a lot to take in. A lot of negative.
Do you think some of the Native Americans could have created a lot of those portals?
I think so.
Okay.
I think like whenever I think one for sure was, for me in my experience, I think vortexes are associated more with Native Americans than a typical portal. I don't know. Like for me, there's just like a difference. I think Native Americans use it to create things because a lot of Native Americans worked with the land. They worked with what Mother Earth gave them, right? Like they do their I don't know what it's called. I don't mean any offense, but like sort of like their rituals, their dances, their things
ceremonies.
They do. Yeah, ceremonies. They connect with Earth. They use Earth. They use it for healing, for medicine, so they understand the power of it, and they can create things just like the shapeshift. There's shapeshifters associated with it. Skinwalkers are typically associated with Native Americans. And every time I've ever seen the ancient entities, which some of them look like they're just like these tall, 30-foot tall black beings with red eyes, they're associated with, there's always Native American land beside of it.
Yeah,
so
because
I definitely think so.
There's always passed down information, especially among the Native Americans, of Sasquatch being, at one time being their enemy because they didn't understand. And then some of them had them combined with the Native Americans where they're actually on their side fighting with them. And
they call them protectors.
And they have the watchers, and they just have all these entities, that they have, whether the shaman or whoever the leader of the tribe brings them in, during their rituals or ceremonies.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the Native Americans, I think we could all learn something from just studying their practices and just the respect they had for so many elements of life, or the way they used things. I mean, it's just but I definitely think that they created a lot of these beings to I mean, even for protection, whatever they used them for, they created a lot of them.
Yeah, they could have easily have manifested them, especially if they were truly medicine men or shamans. They were connected to the other side or the other realms and be able to bring these beings, or like we talked about, manifest them themselves for whatever they want them there for.
Yes, absolutely.
But then the question is, did they ever get rid of them?
They're still here.
So
and they're probably still using them in spirit. What is it?
What's in the lake there?
It's that big. It looks like it's sort of like a dog, or it almost puts you in mind of a big black dog, or like some type of black panther with red eyes, but it lives underwater, which is so weird. I didn't see gills on it. I didn't see fins, but it stays in the water, and it pulls people in and kills them.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
so now would that be considered like a sprite, or is that or you think it's like a cryptid entity, or?
I'm not sure. I've had several people say that they think it could be some type of like a water fae,
Okay,
but
yeah.
I don't know for sure. I think it's something to do with Native Americans because this thing has been there for a long time, and I think it worked with them. You know what I mean? Like it helped them, or they think they. I don't know.
Do you know of any certain tribes that were in that specific area?
It was the Shawnee tribe in that
Shawnee,
area.
Okay, Shawnee.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was the Shawnee
Yeah.
tribe in that area, and they were ran out at one time, and then they had kidnapped on that area specifically. They had kidnapped or taken the man's kids and scalped them, and had their heads
Oh.
hanging on something. When he finally went to go find his kids, he found their heads.
Mm.
Yeah, because normally when you hear of lakes or stories about lakes, it's always, Lady of the Lake or, something
Mhm.
like that. You don't really hear of a cryptid or an animal cross between. That's kind of different. That's a neat story.
Yeah, they did uncover, I think he told me, 3,000 Native American bones on that property.
Oh, wow.
My gosh.
And that's what I asked him. I was like, did you put him back? I wouldn't have taken him.
Yeah.
He did allow, I think, someone to take some pieces of the bone and study them at one of the universities. Honestly, I think they should have brought him right back or just taken a test there, like swabbed it and left it alone. Which is why that place is just, I don't think it was ever technically meant to be a carnival or anything like that. A place where it could just kind of feed off of whoever was there and take its victims whenever it wanted. The land is just, it's sacred, but it also feels cursed at the same time. Like it's not meant for anybody but who used to be there, if that makes sense. He does a good job though. He doesn't, he lets people go there and camp and stay the night if they want. But he also asks for offerings for the Native Americans, to bring an offering for them. Like don't provoke them, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
But
because the Native Americans, not only do they have sacred land, but then they have cursed land that they put on there to protect their sacred place. So if anybody like us just wander through there or have ill things or evil things that we're doing, then that's why they curse some of the land to protect what they don't want us to get to.
Wow. How many years was that carnival going?
I'm not really sure. I don't think I've ever actually like looked that part up. I think it was in use for, several years. There's a lot of documented death there. A lot of kids drowned in that water. They would just go under. And I really feel like even to this day, if like I wouldn't let my daughter stand beside that lake. She knows how to swim. She's been around water her whole life, but I wouldn't let her stand on the edge of it and turn my back. Especially if I turned my back, you'd be gone. And you're not coming up until somebody goes in and finds you. This thing wants to kill people, and that's just all there is to it. It wants to kill people. And I don't know. I don't think the natives that were in that area were friendly, but I think they were like kind of in the process of getting pushed out from people. So, rightfully so, they were upset. So I don't know. It'd be interesting if I go back again, because it's kind of like they'll probably be like, "Look, we told you not to come back."
Is it close to you?
It's a couple hours away, about 2.5 hours away. So it's not too far.
Just don't go alone.
Yeah,
you're smiling.
Yeah.
There's so many times that you're going, I'm here alone, and I'm going, Amber.
Well, I probably can't go alone because like that lake, there's a ton of frogs in there at night, and I'm not. I need somebody to keep me safe from the frogs.
Yeah, that was the night you were trying to find stairs in the woods, weren't you? And then you kept finding frogs.
Yeah. That was, oh my gosh, they were everywhere. I could hear them, and then there were eyes. Yeah, I can't do frogs. I can't.
Yeah, so people are scared of stairs in the woods, but you're scared of the frogs.
Right. I'll go jump up and down the steps. I don't care, but find a set of stairs in the middle of the forest.
frog man or something like that.
Ew.
Oh my gosh, I would instantly like pass out probably. Yeah,
That'd be
I couldn't do that.
horrible. You're manifesting that to her.
No, I'm not saying I want that to happen to her. I'm just saying I hope you don't.
I mean,
Wow.
I've seen a Birdman.
Oh,
So there's just a lot of stuff out there.
you've seen a bird man, naked man, all kinds of things.
Right? Yeah, swamp creatures that live in the banks, vampires, werewolves, shapeshifters. I saw a Wendigo.
Pug
There's
wedgies.
just yeah, the Pugwudgies. I mean, there's just a lot of them. A lot of them.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I want to see more. I want to see all of it. I want to experience as much as I can. Because if not, I'll be back again doing the same thing, trying to figure it out again. I'm trying to raise that consciousness a little bit.
Well, this has been a really good show. I think we'll go ahead and end it here. And why don't you go ahead and give out your information and your channel and stuff? We've been posting it on through the chat anyway, but you can still go ahead and tell us if you have an email you want people to reach you or whatever shows you got going on.
Yeah, my email's available on YouTube as well as on my, I think it's linked to my TikTok. I can't remember. It probably is. But yeah, I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter under Amber's Paraworld. YouTube here, that's my main one I do is YouTube. And I have a Facebook page. I don't do much with Facebook. I only check it once in a while. I'm not much of a Facebook person. So if somebody shares something on Facebook with me, I usually don't see it till I have a livestock group on there that I started with like me and like 3 of my friends and some cousins. And now there's 8,000 members. And to keep me from getting put in Facebook jail again, I have to pre-approve posts. So that's why I get on there like once a week to approve posts. That's about it. So yeah, and then I have my book on Amazon. So all you have to do is type in Amber's Paraworld or The Dead in Me, and you can find my book.
And that's about it. A podcast or something that was called.
Yes, I just haven't done one for a little while. I've had a lot of issues with my phone breaking and just not. And then we had some vacations, and definitely gonna do another one soon and get it out there. I have every intention of always like uploading it like every 2 weeks, and then I get busy and forget. My memory sucks sometimes.
Well, if you get to your second book, you need to let us know.
I definitely will. And thank you guys for having me on. This has been fun.
Oh, it's been great. We love hearing your stories and everything, your adventures you go on. And like I said, we watch your show all the time, and we're usually in your chat.
I appreciate you all so
you go
much.
live and you do even your card readings and stuff.
Yeah,
we really like that too.
But before you go, we did have a question or a comment that they want to know if you picked up anything off of that gun picture when we were seeing little phenomena woo feathers. So somebody was wondering if you could pick up anything off of that gun photo behind us that in our old videos.
Like I think we talked a little bit about this before the show started, but I really what I was picking up there is definitely ET activity and some type of portal outside, and then the older male that is in relation, and he's definitely showing me that he was like leaving signs for you to see, to acknowledge. But it may not be associated just with that photo itself. It could just be where it was like in the spotlight and people would notice it. You know what I mean? And they're like, okay, right. I'm going to use this because everybody else is going to see it and somebody's going to bring it up.
So hopefully if it happens behind us in this room, that means it would be pretty much the same situation then. It wouldn't be just that wall.
Right. I mean, it could be, but spirit come and go all the time. So it's really hard to say. For the most part, spirit's harmless. There's those few that you got to use your mom voice with though.
Well, I have dowsing rods. And I like to use them. Would I be able to find where that portal is by using my dowsing rods?
You can try for sure. And I think on that one, I would connect with one of your guides. Okay. And ask her to help kind of guide you to it. because sometimes if spirit are using it, and like let's just say they use it and they don't want you to know where it's at, they're going to mislead you. They can easily manipulate that. So I've had spirit, act like they're not in a certain spot, and I'm like, dude, I see you, but I'll be using the rods. They're like, no, I'm not here, or you know what I mean? Like they'll lie. They can, especially if they think you're going to close it off. But I don't really feel anything negative with that spot. I definitely think it's in use. There are some portals that don't get used a lot, that kind of after a while, like that spirit just doesn't use them anymore. But I definitely feel like it's used not only for spirit, but it's used for ET activity as well. So I would keep an eye out for those and kind of watch the sky, just kind of watch around you. You could probably even do like an ET meditation and see if you can connect with anything. That can be kind of risky. You don't want to bring in the wrong ones, but just have the good intentions and set your boundaries and see what happens. That would be interesting.
I do have a lot of light activity. I do see a lot of activity up in the sky, and they are, ET, and they'll blink and flash and pretty much say hi to me. And I've never really felt nasty negativeness around here either. So it's always been positive. So, well, that will answer that question for that person. Did you see any other questions pop up at all?
No, not really. I tried to put them up on screen, and we pretty much hit all of them anyway as we were talking to Amber.
Yeah, because I saw the orb in the cemetery. That's why I brought that up. Well, if you go back tonight and pick up anything, I really hope it's on your next show.
Yeah, I have not filmed for a while, but like I said, I've had I had to go take my phone in to get it worked on because the charger quit charging, and then they broke it even more. So then, we went and got a different phone from a different place, and that didn't work out. The touchscreen on it didn't work in the corners, and I need that access. And it was like a really expensive phone, but the touchscreen sucked on it, so I can't do that. So I went back to another one, and then now my data keeps losing. I keep losing connection, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's always something.
Wow.
But I'm definitely going to get out here and film here tonight. I have to now because I want to see if the zombies show back up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm sitting here talking about them, so that's going to draw them in. Like I hope I don't get bit. Wouldn't it be cool though to get bit by like a zombie that's like dead, like that's like spirit? You know what I mean? Like that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Pose for you.
I'll be holding my hand out, bite me.
Oh no.
That's funny. Well, don't go anywhere. We'll end the show here real quick, and we'll talk to you for a few minutes after.
All right, and thank you to everybody watching. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. You guys are great, and thank you for always supporting me in my videos, and I appreciate you guys.
Yep, we love your shows. Yeah.
So everybody go over to Amber's Paraworld on YouTube and check out her Facebook page and show her some love and hit that subscription button, that notification, and like her videos and give her some views, and make sure you hit the notification bell and the thumbs up for Midwest Night Watchers, because we're here on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch, and pretty soon we're going to start a Rumble channel so we can at least have a place to upload our videos just in case something happens to our videos. And you never know what rabbit holes or what subject we might hit on Midwest Night Watchers. It's not all aliens and paranormal. But it's been fun, Amber. We love you, and we're going to go ahead and end the show. And we love everybody in chat. Yeah. Thank you for all the love in chat, and we will see you next time.
Thank you, everyone, for showing up. We will see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Love and peace. Be nice to others.
Keep looking up.